Hi and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be looking at messages from your person. So there are 3 groups to choose from. Group 1 is the rose quartz, along with these cards. Group 2 is the agate slice, along with these cards. And group 3 is the lapis lazuli, along with these cards. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups, or perhaps all of the groups that you are most drawn to. I'll give you a minute to make your selection and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps for each group in the description box of the video if you would like to jump ahead, which I do recommend so that you can skip over kind of my shuffling and clearing the energy in between groups, as well as tapping into the energy for the group that I'm about to read for. So I'll give you a minute to make that selection or multiple selections, and again, timestamps in the description box so that you can jump ahead to the start of each group. Hi, Group 1. You chose the rose quartz along with these cards, which I will start with to get kind of a feel of where this person's at, what's going on with them right now, what's going on in the energies of the connection as well. So we have White Witch, be the light. So this could definitely be somebody who is going through some shadow work right now, some purging, maybe coming out of a dark night of the soul, trying to focus on more of the positives and the potentials of some circumstances that they have been dealing with. With this owl here on the card as well, this can really talk about wisdom that has been gained through some tough lessons or a period of growth that this person has just gone through. And we also have Warrior, be fearless and stand strong. So again, kind of tying in with this idea of shadow work, kind of facing some fears, facing some obstacles, maybe taking the road less traveled, which could be kind of scary, stepping out into the unknown, either in terms of really addressing their feelings for you, their feelings for the connection, or maybe some changes in their life in general where they're needing to be kind of a trailblazer. They're needing to kind of break with tradition and sort of forge their own path forward to figure out what that looks like for them. And really harnessing, this really feels like that kind of yang, that masculine energy, regardless of gender, this very sort of action-oriented energy, being very proactive, sort of with this wisdom that has been gained, the lessons that have been learned through some deep kind of introspection and shadow work of where they want to go moving forward in their life, potentially what sort of a future they would like to experience in this connection with you, whether this is kind of a deepening of that bond, maybe even just in the energetic realms first and foremost. If you're in no contact or separation from this person, this can also allude to somebody who is kind of making this plan of action to move back towards you, trying to formulate some concrete steps to change the circumstances of the energy between the both of you, which may require some courage on their part as well, to have perhaps a difficult conversation with you, to put pride and ego aside and come from kind of a state of humility and being willing to admit that they were wrong, or maybe that they had acted unfairly towards you, had kind of judged the connection prematurely, or had made the wrong decision in the past to move away from this connection. And we also have Spring, see your seeds grow. So this can really speak about efforts that have been made to do that shadow work, to kind of shift the vibration, shift the perspective. Maybe some efforts that have really gone into cultivating something in terms of abundance and material success for this person. And they're starting to see the results of that, even a shift in their mindset, that kind of positive thinking, that optimism. Instead of looking at kind of the negatives around them, focusing on the positives. And they're really starting to recognize something blooming, something blossoming from that. It could just be kind of the first sprouts here of this sort of change in kind of their disposition or their outlook. But with this hare here on the card, which is a symbol of kind of fecundity and abundance, and sort of this quick energy that's coming in, this looks to be somebody who is really experiencing kind of manifestation very quickly, which is also causing them to be extra mindful of their thoughts as these things are manifesting, good and bad, for them at a very quick pace. This can also speak to abundance that is coming in for them, or even an abundance mindset that they are cultivating, a new perspective on you and the connection that is starting to really show the seeds of promise, sort of when they kind of move out of this energy of resistance and running from the connection and move into a place of surrender and acceptance, allowing themselves to be moved and grown and changed through this energy of the connection, then it's starting to really yield some very positive results in unexpected ways, unexpected avenues within their life. And again, some kind of clearing of the clutter, this sort of shadow work, the prelude to spring obviously being the season of winter, kind of this dormancy, this iciness. So this can really speak of, again, coming out of that darkness, out of the dark night of the soul. And this really also talks about any kind of iciness or a cold or dormant period in this connection between you. This person really planting the seeds of intention to move beyond that, to create some kind of shift, potentially to move back in your direction, to resurrect this connection, have the opportunity for rebirth and renewal. And we also have Pillar of Light, Descent of the Star of Isis. So you may resonate as a starseed. This can be a confirmation for you of that. But this is really talking about, with that reference to kind of the pillars, some foundations within this person's life. They may have really constructed themselves, their belief systems, their lifestyle based on others' needs, others' expectations in the past, which I feel led to a lot of choices that weren't really in resonance with their soul, maybe moving through an energy of fear, kind of distancing themselves from the connection for how different you are, or from maybe the type of partner that was expected of them. There could have been some cultural difference, religious difference, an age difference, something in both of your circumstances. They weren't really sure how this would be received by others. And so kind of acting on that faulty foundation of people pleasing, really basing their actions on how that would be received or understood or accepted by others, that has led to this period of kind of this crumbling, this breakdown, this person really introspecting, taking the time to kind of sift through that rubble and to determine, kind of what have the choices that they've made previously in their life in general, and as it pertains to this connection, how has this really lent to the stability or a feeling of security within themselves, versus kind of this uncertainty of walking a razor's edge, of always needing to please others or fit into a mold that others expect of them. So this really speaks to, again, kind of rebuilding this foundation, a more solid foundation for themselves, establishing some pillars, also focusing on kind of these pillars within themselves of health, wealth, and relationships, really taking these factors into account, tending to their physical health, any kind of health matters that they may have sort of avoided, or kind of lifestyle choices that weren't really serving their highest good. This person could have really worked very hard to kind of establish a new routine. In terms of relationships, this could be kind of moving away from toxic or one-sided relationships, karmic relationships of a romantic friendship or even a family nature, even things related to kind of business contacts or what they were doing, which also then ties into that pillar of wealth, sort of taking a real honest look at how are they making their money, what are their views, what is their relationship to money, are they operating with kind of a lack mentality, a lack mindset, to where they're almost repelling that energy of abundance in the form of material wealth that wants to come into them. Some sort of sense of maybe this core wound of not really feeling very deserving of abundance and success, and so it therefore remains elusive to them. And so something really having shaken up within this person. And all of these factors at the core level also really help to kind of reinforce or rebuild the stability within this person, which can then help them to show up as a more healed and confident version of themselves in this connection in the future. There could have been kind of issues or triggers, wounds that you pointed out, these kind of deficiencies within this person, kind of again that lack mentality, not really feeling good enough, kind of a fear of being judged, that really caused them to kind of act against the wishes and the desires of their heart, really contort themselves into the expectations of others, which can again ripple out to a myriad of things, what they're doing for a living, where it is that they are actually physically living, how it is they spend their time, habits, lifestyle choices, the company that they're keeping. It feels that all of this has really been in this period of upheaval and kind of clearing out the clutter, this sort of energy of the spring cleaning that has taken place within this person internally, and is then kind of rippling out to other areas of their life, and then has the potential as well to sort of affect the energy and dynamic between the both of you. And we also have spirit of nurture. So this is really talking about that energy of self-love. This person taking a good, honest look at themselves and what they are really filling their life with, what occupies their time and space, whether that's even media that they are ingesting, ideas that they are taking into themselves, projections of other people that have really eroded the self-esteem of this person or created the perception of limits within themselves and what they're capable of. And so this feels like something where, again, kind of this imagery here, this is almost like a tower, like a leaning tower, and really speaks to that kind of crumbling and that falling away of sort of a foundation that was built on kind of an unsteady ground, almost like the idea of a sand castle, and allowing that to kind of wash away, to kind of leave their life, either deliberately or just kind of naturally, organically, as they are shifting their vibration, as they are really stepping into more of this place of acceptance and knowledge of self, taking action in the direction that resonates most with them, regardless of how others perceive that, interpret that, or approve of it or don't. And as they are doing this, I feel that a lot of things, and relationships specifically, people, are just kind of falling away from this person's life because they are no longer in resonance with them. This can also really talk about starting to see others or priorities or values that they once had that are no longer resonating with them. So this person really distancing themselves from things that at one point in time they may have given a lot of weight to. And we also have spirit of love. So this really also talks about this focus that is being directed as well to maybe how they treated you in the past, the opportunity for a higher level love that this connection offered them that they weren't in a place of being willing or able to accept at the time, maybe even fears of inadequacy that had really held them back from that. This can also talk about some baggage or heartbreak from the past that this person's been carrying around that kind of made them jaded or closed off, unable to recognize, receive, and reciprocate the love you had to offer. And so this is part of that energy of the spring cleaning, the falling away, and sort of this reconstructive energy, somebody who's kind of reevaluating their ideas even on love, marriage, relationships, commitment, and really separating out what are, their own kind of organic belief systems versus things that might have been templated in them by people, parental figures, their family of origin, friends, society, even some negative views or kind of disparaging views on certain types of relationships, or kind of even a timeline of when a person should enter into kind of a commitment. There's a sense here for some of you that maybe this person was really encouraged that they were too young to settle down at the time when it came to you, and this interest that they had expressed in really, coming into closer proximity with you, kind of solidifying that relationship. But there'd been all this pressure that they have plenty of time to do that. They need to, focus on other things, keep their options open, kind of that idea of sowing their oats, traveling the world, seeing, if the grass is greener, what else there is, not settling for the first thing that comes along. Any of those kind of narratives or belief systems really having an effect on this person and kind of distorting or narrowing their perception of what love and relationship should look like. So it feels like this is also a major part of what is shifting and changing and being kind of reimagined for this person. And we also have Hunter of Death. So this energy, the death energy, is both an energy of endings and beginnings, and it fits in really well with this concept of things falling away. And with that reference to hunter, that's a very active energy. That's somebody who's being very proactive. So while there might be things that kind of circumstances outside of their control are eliminating things from their life, that's really causing them to introspect, to go in and sort of question now that something is gone, or a series of somethings are no longer relevant or available to them. What can they kind of fill that space with? But this also is somebody who is not just stopping there. They are not just limiting themselves to kind of things outside of their control that are shifting their environment and their circumstances. This is somebody who is taking a very proactive approach to go within, to do that clearing, to do that kind of inventory of self, to remove things from their life that are no longer in resonance with them or don't kind of feel that they fit kind of these higher goals that this person has. And encompassed in that is kind of this promise of renewal, that for what is cleared away, seeds of intention are planted for what they do want to experience, what they do want to grow in their life, what they do want to nourish. And as we saw here with your seeds starting to grow, this action, this activity is starting to really show some results, which I think is encouraging this person to continue along this path, continue along this process of kind of sifting and evaluation, and sort of these small shifts within themselves, or these intentions that they have really placed, that they're following up with action, and the results that have come of that. It is really encouraging this person to kind of stick on this path, to stick with this plan. They're getting some confirmations here, maybe even signs and synchronicities, seeing a lot of angel numbers perhaps, to keep going, to keep heading down this road, that they're headed in the right direction. So I'm going to get a little bit of tarot to get some clarification for this group 1. Okay, and we have the Four of Wands, which is often seen as the twin flame card, the 1111 card. So that can be a confirmation for you if you resonate as a twin flame. This can also really, again, what was coming up with kind of the signs and synchronicities this person might be seeing as far as angel numbers, maybe 1111. But this also really talks about kind of like that imagery of the pillar, the stability that they are seeking to cultivate in their life, starting fresh, starting over in a lot of ways to really build something that is satisfying, that has the potential to kind of grow into something more that's in alignment with their passions. And this also is really talking about, as with the spirit of love, that part of this inventory that's going on within them, it does also pertain to what has happened in the connection where the two of you find yourself at this time. And we've got strength. So this is a card of balancing, again, kind of the light and shadow aspects of self. This really fits in as well with this imagery here of this warrior that was coming through here with this card, this very proactive energy, this very yang energy. This is not somebody who is just waiting for kind of the tides of fate to take them to new shores. This is somebody who is planning that journey, who is taking a very active role in that process in their life to exact the changes that they want to experience. They may be having some difficult conversations, some harsh conversations with people, cutting away from relationships that have been part of their life for a long time, lifestyles, habits, belief systems. And so it's requiring courage on their part to do this, to have those difficult talks, to make those very difficult changes, to allow things to fall away or to actively move away from things that they're very aware are not serving their highest good. And we have the Lovers. So again, this card of kind of the unification of the light and shadow aspects of self, the yin and yang, masculine and feminine polarities, both within this person in terms of magnetizing opportunities and then also following that and setting seeds of intention, coupled with action steps to really kind of bring that timeline closer to them, to sort of show the universe that they are very serious about these intentions that they have and they're willing to put in the work to achieve that. And this can also, again, be a card of soulmates or twin flames. So again, another confirmation of that for you, and ties in very well with this Four of Wands in terms of, and the spirit of love in terms of this connection, what has happened in the past, the ways in which they may have pushed you away out of fear or fear of even what other people might have thought, a fear of loss, a fear of inadequacy, that all of this is really being called into question. This desire to, through the changes that are happening, to move back towards you, move back in your direction, with proof of change, with evidence that their life is very different, their mindset is very different from where they may have been previously. And we've got the Four of Cups. So this can really talk about somebody who is kind of disinterested, dissatisfied with where they are at emotionally in their life, really taking into account, the ways in which they may have kind of coddled to other people's expectations, really kind of contorted themselves to fit that expectation, and sort of the promises, even the promises of praise or encouragement from others that may at one point in time have been kind of satisfying or sufficient for this person. It feels like that's no longer enough. They're no longer satisfied with things that once resonated with them, or with kind of this external validation with this hand here with the cup. They're no longer looking and really taking into account as much the opinions, the expectations of others, maybe others in their life, society, even some mindsets that have been kind of subconsciously programmed within them, templated within them. These things are no longer resonating with them. They're looking for something else, for something more, not really looking so much to the outside world, but tending that garden within. And we've got the Queen of Swords. So this is definitely that energy of cutting away, severing ties and relationships with belief systems, mindsets, even people that no longer serve them, no longer serve their highest good. This is also a card of truth and of knowing. So this person really stepping into that, really admitting to themselves even first and foremost, perhaps feelings that they have for you, or a desire to move more into a state of union with you that they may have really denied or suppressed in the past. And we also have the Seven of Swords, which I feel is really talking about self-deception that may have been kind of a factor in the past with this person, kind of acting as if, kind of going with the motions, trying to fit into a facade or a projection that other people had placed upon them, but that this was not really fulfilling them. Maybe a lot of denial that was going on as well about that, about the way that the opinions with the swords energy here and kind of this intellect or speech or words, sort of this mental chatter even, or even the kind of words of praise or criticism from others and how much of an impact this had on this person. This is kind of the energy of them moving out of that state of denial, taking the wisdom from, you know, what others have had to say, or kind of again that process of that self-inventory, that sifting through, taking what works for them, keeping what resonates, leaving behind, discarding, moving beyond that which doesn't serve their highest good or doesn't serve the idea of who they would like to be and what they would like to experience in their life. So in terms of zodiac signs with the tarot that has come out here with the wands, we have fire energy, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Strength is Leo. Lovers is Gemini. Cups is water energy, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. And with the swords, we have air energy, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. So I'm going to get some messages from this person's higher self for you now, group one. What do they want to say? All right, and they say you block or unfriend me on social media. So this could be the case where they have blocked you, you have blocked them. Communication is very limited or seemingly impossible between you at this time. I feel this is also really in reference to that energy of kind of the cutting away, the clearing away, unfriending people, you know, unfollowing certain accounts, or you know, not listening to certain types of music, watching kind of shows, or even people, friendships, relationships that they've had in their life, kind of moving away from those people, severing those connections with the Queen of Swords, becoming very honest in that inventory as far as what are these ideas, what is that perpetuating within this person, what are these relationships, what's that really adding in terms of value to this person's existence versus what it's taking away or diminishing within them. And they also say, I think of contacting you, but I chicken out. So there is this desire to move back in your direction, but this person feels almost that they hold back or they restrain themselves partially out of fear, partially out of the fact that they are kind of a work in progress at this point. They're kind of occupying this liminal space where a lot has been cut away, a lot has really fallen away or been pushed away from their life. They've moved away from these things. And they're starting to see kind of those seeds germinate of really kind of a clear path forward that they are sort of forging for themselves, kind of a direction, the way for them. But it's still very new in terms of its foundation and development. And so this feels like someone, as much as they, again, have this urge to move towards you, to reach out, it almost feels like their higher self holding them back because there's still some growth that needs to occur. There's still more they need to work on with those multiple foundations within themselves, within their life, kind of that energy of the rebirth. They're still occupying this space of newness and of becoming and of transition. And so to come in at this point in time, there's still so much internal work that needs to be done, or the work that needs to be done really needs to manifest into changed results that they're kind of just being held back in that space of sort of isolation within themselves in order to just really give these changes time to solidify, so that they're not coming in sort of a codependent energy. They're not coming in without some more kind of stability in terms of their own foundation or their healing work, to where potentially the intensity of the connection could trigger them to kind of move back into that wounded space again. There's still some things that need to kind of finalize and crystallize within themselves before this momentum, this anticipation, this strategy that is taking place, before it's in a position of really having something of substance and value to offer. And they also say, I've been fantasizing about you. So again, that energy of really thinking about and wanting this reconciliation, this rebirth, imagining a future with you, which maybe in the past was kind of an idea that they had sort of pushed away or had kind of closed themselves off to, perhaps because of the expectations or ideas of others even. Okay, and they say, be kind to yourself. So that is coming through also with the spirit of nurture here. This person really encouraging you to be gentle with yourself during your own healing journey, any kind of work, any kind of self-purification that you are doing in terms of your life, your belief systems, what you surround yourself with that is being mirrored by this person and the work that's going on with them. They're trying to be very self-loving. They're trying to be very tender. They're trying to just kind of take delicate steps at this point in time, moving more into that space also of forgiveness and being kinder to themselves. This person could have been very harsh on themselves or had a lot of kind of judgmental people with expectations, a very high bar that was set for this person that they were always kind of striving and struggling to meet. And anything that kind of deviated from that, or was even a suggestion more of something that resonated on, say, the heart level with them, or in terms of their passions, they could have really been trained or programmed to kind of put those things aside, cast those things aside, maybe in the interest of opulence or material success or wealth, to the exclusion of these other kind of factors like health and love for themselves. And they also say, I could only work with what I had at the time. So this is really talking about this evolution that is taking place within this person. They are acknowledging from their higher self that some kind of an ascension has taken place. They're transcending and have transcended a lot of belief systems and behaviors from the past. And they also say, please forgive. So this can talk about kind of that energy of forgiving themselves for maybe the things that they'd entertained in their life, or kind of giving their power and autonomy away to others in the past, not really being the decider in terms of the direction of their life, but really deferring to others to kind of chart that course for them. This also speaks to somebody who is hoping that you can find it in your heart to be tender with them, to give them another chance once they reach that point within themselves of confidence and kind of these changes really solidifying, and they finally get that kind of that sign or that inclination, or the universe brings you back together through some kind of serendipity to where, you know, that new beginning that they're hoping for, anticipating for, and on some level also kind of working toward and seeking to magnetize into their life once that arrives and becomes a reality. Okay, and they say trust in the infinite possibilities. So again, this person kind of going into uncharted territory here, forging their own path, being autonomous in their own life in a way that might have been quite unusual for them in the past. And so a lot of trust is being required of them at this point in time. Trust in what is happening, trust that what is leaving their life, what is falling away, is making space for the new. They're also asking you to trust in the potential of new beginnings, to keep that seed of hope alive within you as you continue to strive to step into that best version of self. And they also say, I want to see you. So again, a lot of desire to move back in your direction. Some clarity may have come to this person. I feel primarily in the ways in which they may have suppressed or denied their feelings, again, kind of out of the consideration of the expectations of others. And they also say, you are my lighthouse. So they are being guided towards you. Kind of the more they're leaning into that trust, and the way is widening for them. It is being shown to them step by step. It is drawing them closer to you. This person could also be kind of tapping into your energy, or even just from the higher self level, your souls really calling to each other, guiding each other. You could have really been an inspiration for this person as well during some of their darker hours, in terms of maybe some challenges that you have overcome, ways in which you've reconstructed your life out of a period of kind of collapse and chaos, and sort of that energy of rebirth that has taken place. So I'll get a few more messages from this person, group 1. Okay, and they say, it's time. I'm ready to tell you the truth. I know you've waited so long to hear it. So that's that energy of the Queen of Swords, that truth, that clarity, cutting through the illusions, cutting through any kind of deception, self-deception, or even a denial of their feelings for you with that Seven of Swords. And again, this really tying into somebody who's had long suppressed desires for you, really sought to maybe maintain some kind of an image or the expectation others had for them, maybe family or friends, of the type of partner that would be best suited for them. them. Somebody who has really broken away from that, is deciding to choose themselves, choose their autonomy, over trying to almost please the unpleasable. It feels that as much as this person may have really catered their life or kind of neglected their own needs in the interest of others' expectations, it almost feels like it was never enough. Again, that energy of the bar being set very high, that kind of the satisfaction they were, or even the kind of praise or acclaim they were getting for their choices that were in alignment with others' desires, it was very minimal, just kind of mediocre. And so this person has really chosen that potential exuberance of kind of the feeling of self-affirmation through choosing their truth, through choosing to follow their heart over kind of what that might look like or how others might receive that. And they also say, I want to share with you my darkest fears and deepest desires, but I stop myself in fear that you'll laugh at me. So there could be some kind of feelings of inadequacy, fears that this person is needing to work through. And this also is that energy of clarity and of truth, wanting to really share with you the journey that they are on, perhaps deliver some kind of an apology or an explanation of their motivations for their actions in the past. There could be some hesitation behind that as well, kind of fear of that difficult conversation or of reopening old wounds between the both of you. And they also say, I can see clearly now. I'm no longer in denial. So more of that energy of clarity. And again, what was coming through with that Seven of Swords, this kind of self-denial, in which this person is now aware that they may have been living a very inauthentic life, that they had definitely given their autonomy away to some degree for a while to people who had outward expectations, or just this kind of perception of the image that they were supposed to uphold. This person really having moved away from that, broken away from that, and seeking to really cultivate and grow and develop their own individuality. So I'm going to get a Rumi card for you now, group one, and this will have a little poem out of the book that I will read to you, which can almost be another message from this person's higher self. Okay, and we have Sacred Convergence. So this is really tying in as well with kind of that energy with the strength and the lovers, kind of this reconciling of the light and shadow, the higher and lower natures, the yin and the yang, the masculine and feminine polarities, and also really speaks to this person through that journey work within themselves, through that process within themselves. It's bringing them closer to being able to speak that truth with you, to you, this desire that they have to really make these feelings that may have been long suppressed or hidden known. So, okay, so here's the poem. Roaming about town, the master was holding a light, saying, I am weary of the demons and the beasts. A human is what I am longing for. The human cannot be found. We have searched. What cannot be found is what I am longing for. Although poor and needy, I will not accept small pieces of ruby. The mine of the finest rubies is what I am longing for. On one hand, holding a cup of wine, and the other the curls of the beloved. A dance like this in the middle of the circle is what I am longing for. How I have longed for you, my very own. Look no further for the family beyond your family, the relationship beyond all other relationships, the great love that unveils all other loves to be mere reflections of the one great and true love is here, for you now. It is I who has sought you through the stirrings of your own heart. Yes, 'twas I hidden beneath every secret, yearning for something more, something full, something special, something all-encompassing. Behind every yearning always I have hidden. Now I show myself to you, that you may become so filled with the same passionate devotion that I hold for you, that your mind will fall away, overwhelmed by the sheer intensity of love, tossed into an ocean of silent, unending bliss. Come to me. We are to be one now, in sacred convergence of silent, eternal passion. So that's really beautiful, and again speaks very directly to kind of this this mediocrity that this person had been experiencing and had just kind of tolerated in their life, in terms of the satisfaction and the joy that came with kind of meeting other people's needs and expectations for them, living a life that was designed for them, or in some way met the approval of others. And so another confirmation of kind of this person stepping away from that, choosing themselves, choosing the fire within their heart, the fire within their soul, in many ways in their life, and also as it pertains to kind of love and romance, really choosing to lean into and explore and embrace the energy between the both of you, taking steps to kind of reconfigure themselves, their ideas of love and what is possible, what love should look like, as well as kind of time frames, timelines, things of that nature. And so that is a beautiful message of, again, kind of the work that they're doing on themselves, really mirroring the work that you're doing on yourself, and sort of this energy, this concept of parallel paths, and kind of moving closer toward each other. Every step in the direction of your own abundance that you take as you raise that vibration, you're definitely kind of step by step meeting this sort of equal and higher ground, where then, you know, the universe or circumstances, or by sheer free will, this person choosing potentially to reach out in the future, you're able to meet each other with fresh eyes and at a level of kind of wholeness and healing, which is the recipe for sort of more potential of success in the connection than you may have experienced previously. A lot of those wounds and distortions really having been quelled and healed to some extent, which, you know, there will always be different kind of challenges and obstacles that come up, but a lot of the things and the issues that you may have been dealing with this person in the past, this feels like somebody who's in the process of transcending that, which is stepping them into a place of empowerment so that they are able to receive and reciprocate the love that you have to give. So I'm going to get some guidance from Spirit for you now about this situation, Group 1. Okay, and we have Mother of Mercy. So this is really talking about this person, again, nurturing themselves. You're really guided and advised to continue to nurture yourself at this point in time. Recognize any ways that you've held the bar very high for yourself. You've tried to live up to these almost unreachable standards. Easing back into that energy of compassion for yourself, for kind of the struggles that you have overcome, sort of the journey that you have taken, the courage that has taken to speak your truth, step into that authenticity, move away from things, people, and circumstances and belief systems that do not resonate with your highest truth and what you hope to experience in this life. This imagery also of the goddess Kuan Yin, and you know, she's seated here in this position, and this is really this energy of receptivity. So guidance and advice to kind of cultivate that space within you, work on stepping into and sort of healing any wounds within the feminine polarity of self, that yin energy, that receptive polarity, anything where you feel you might not be worthy or deserving of love, maybe because of experiences of love that you've had in the past that have really kind of jaded or narrowed your self-esteem or your vision of love and what that can look like and what that feels like, how that kind of comes in. Move into the space of knowing that you are worthy of receiving and experiencing the highest love possible. And when you step into that place of receptivity, instead of kind of taking the very action-oriented approach of chasing and seeking and trying to capture what it is that you're wanting, allowing that to come to you organically, focusing on yourself, cultivating the world around you, cultivating that internal landscape, creating those changes in your own life, and in the abundance that you wish to see, cultivating that on the inside through a shift perspective, a shifted mindset, which can then blossom into experiences and examples of that on the outside. And when you do that, it brings in that vibration, that kind of resonant vibration of that sort of self-love and that feeling of worthiness. So again, any kind of wounds, any kind of feelings where you don't feel worthy to receive abundance, you don't feel that that's in the cards, cards for you, or that, that's, coming to realize that that is your birthright. Abundance is your birthright. Healthy and reciprocal love is your birthright. You are worthy and capable of receiving, and you are deserving of receiving everything that your heart desires. And it starts with a vibration first, shifting into that vibration, that place of expectation and receptivity, almost like law of attraction, kind of acting as if, maintaining that vibration of gratitude and kind of the joy that brings. And when that becomes part of your energy field, you again call in that resonance from afar. And so the parts of you and the parts of this person that are really seeking to cultivate that, you can then magnetize each other back in, and other experiences and relationships and circumstances that kind of meet and match that vibration as well. So I'm going to get some initials for you now. Group 1, this can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Okay, so we have F, Z, S, L, J, O, R, D, Y, B, N, M, and I. So those are your messages, Group 1. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, group 2. You chose the agate slice along with these cards, which I will start with to get kind of a feel of the current energies of this connection, what this person is kind of feeling and going through at this point in time. So we have High Priest, intend and create. So this feels like somebody who has stepped into action-oriented energy, perhaps somebody who is desiring to manifest a new beginning with you, manifest some kind of change in this circumstance. Somebody who can also be taking a very proactive approach to changing other circumstances in their life, moving toward their goals. Somebody who may have experienced a lot of changes in their life, kind of new chapters unfolding for them. And they're really having to work with those circumstances. They are maybe somebody who is kind of not so much sitting in their heart space currently, but is kind of in that intellectual space, maybe needing to problem solve, figure out a way, find a way through some obstacles, or trying to work with the circumstances that they have in their present reality to kind of make the most of opportunities, and somebody who's really seeking to, again, kind of cultivate something very specific, a project they've been working on, maybe even something to do with work or business and finances. And we have Broken Arrow, embrace the energy of peace. So this really speaks to any kind of energy of conflict within this person, indecisiveness about kind of a direction that they wanted to go in their life in general in the future, or sort of the direction, if it was unclear for them, their feelings for you, kind of the long-term potential that they saw in this connection. They've come to the end of that period of conflict within themselves. There's some certainty that has been replaced. This feels like somebody who is no longer, to a certain extent, fighting the energies of this connection, resistant to change. This is somebody who has surrendered, who is kind of succumbing to new beginnings and to that energy of change and fluctuation, which is all around them. Somebody who is taking that active role in their life to kind of recognize and seize opportunities as they present themselves. Somebody who's really also taking kind of this energy of assertiveness to kind of make the most of maybe some difficult circumstances, or to build more solidly in the direction of what they hope to experience in the future. And we have Hunter, track down your fears and desires. So again, that kind of yin, masculine polarity, that action-oriented polarity, somebody who is very focused on some goals that they have, some dreams that they hope to achieve, and is taking concrete steps in the material world to accomplish these things. This can also really encompass kind of ideas that they have about the future of the connection, some kind of a realization that has come to them when they've moved into that energy of surrender, no longer fighting this energy, no longer fighting this connection, starting to even experience kind of a shift in the roles, a reversal in the roles. If this had been kind of a runner-chaser energy, this person, maybe you'd been the one in pursuit, you'd been the one trying to get this person to recognize your worth, or to really acknowledge the connection, the intensity of that bond. And you may have reached the point in your own journey where you really have surrendered that. You've chosen to redirect that focus within, to shift your priorities to your own abundance, toward things in your immediate circumstances that you do have the ability to control, allowing this person the time and space to kind of come to that conclusion on their own, to sort of organically figure that out and make that choice to either want to participate in this or to distance themselves. And that shift in your energy and your focus and your attention, it has sent out a ripple across time and space that this person has recognized. They have felt that void, that absence of that kind of pushing energy, that energy of pursuit. They're no longer, they've kind of come to this place of realizing, what are they running from? They're running from nothing at this point. They're no longer being pursued as actively. And this has really allowed them to, in turn, step into that role of the pursuer. So kind of the tables having turned. Now this person is the one desiring you. Now this person is the one wanting to move back in this direction. Through kind of having that alleviation of the pressure, that pressure to make a decision or to act or to come to some kind of realization. It has allowed that kind of that breathing room for that conclusion or that realization to, again, again, come very organically to this person. And this feels like somebody who has made some kind of a solid decision, who is in the process also with this energy of hunter, of strategizing, planning those maneuvers, maybe even doing some research on you, watching you from afar, watching you from hiding almost, under kind of the guise of a fake profile, or very anonymously trying to just kind of derive bits and pieces of information to kind of feel into energetically where you are. What's the best strategy to kind of reintroduce themselves into your life, or to shift this connection in a new direction. Somebody who's trying to also kind of sniff out and see if your heart is still open to them, if you are even available, or perhaps you have entered into another relationship. So somebody who is acting kind of cautiously, kind of an observant energy, but this isn't just observation out of sheer curiosity. This feels like somebody who is kind of observing even fluctuations within themselves. Maybe even somebody who has become kind of aware of their ability to perceive and sort of a sensitivity to energy. So somebody who could really be, observing kind of the world around them, kind of the shifts and trends in the collective consciousness, how that affects them. Somebody who's become observant of maybe some triggers that they have, that this connection, the intensity of the energy between the both of you, or something you may have said, something you may have done, something about you in general that really sparked or instigated something within them as kind of a negative response, caused them to want to run, want to pull away, as opposed to invest further in the connection. So somebody who is really taking the time to kind of analyze and assess these things and become mindful of these things, to try and come up with a better plan of action when triggers come up, to actively work through those triggers, work through those fears, to recognize fear as false evidence appearing real, instead of giving so much credence to that, putting so much weight on that. Somebody who may also really be addressing some fears of intimacy that stem from past heartbreaks that caused them to kind of recoil from the opportunity for new love that was offered in this connection with you. Somebody who is kind of fighting those fears, fighting those demons, fighting the ghosts of the past within themselves that they are starting to realize have really limited them in terms of their experiences and opportunities to embrace and to build in a new direction in a loving connection, out of almost this, again, fear of kind of repeating cycles, patterns or mistakes. And also with this kind of this medicine wheel here on this card, this can also speak to cycles, that this person is recognizing trends and patterns within themselves that they are actively seeking to break, that they've broken out of, even just by simply becoming aware of these things, not just kind of acting obliviously or being kind of that puppet on the string, that their fear and their ego and kind of this deep shadow within themselves, these core wounds, is able to kind of manipulate them and sort of dictate their action and their reaction versus their response. This is somebody who's moving more into that energy of response, taking time to breathe, to pause, to kind of step back and take inventory instead of just taking everything at face value and kind of going on that first instinct or inclination. And we also have Lady of the Stars, Priestess of Sirius. So you could resonate as a starseed. That could be a confirmation for you. This is also really talking about, with this feminine energy here, is kind of this counteracting energy, this kind of balance to these two very masculine cards, these very assertive cards that we have here. This really is talking about and also with this kind of the reference to the high priest and also the priestess, this is talking about this balance, this integration that is happening within this person between the feminine and masculine polarities that we all possess within ourselves. Learning to really trust intuition and weigh that with experience. Learning to listen to their fears, but not give full authority over to those fears. Learning to kind of hear beyond that noise or that chatter for that quieter voice, the whisper within that is often kind of the fount and source of knowledge, of insight, of our own personal truth. So this is somebody who also could be getting kind of in touch with a meditation practice, somebody who is learning to as well kind of balance, step into that softer side of their nature, seeking that harmony between the very kind of assertive and action-oriented parts of their personality and then this softer receptive side of their nature. With this kind of this duality here and this sort of principle of the yin-yang, this can also really talk again about kind of their thoughts and their actions being directed toward the energy of reconciliation, toward moving back in your direction, maybe seeing you from different eyes, recognizing you even as their divine feminine, as their counterpart energy, somebody who really through the qualities that you have within yourself, you balance out these other aspects within this person. You bring a softness to this person, or on the counter to that, you bring a strength, you bring a certainty and assertiveness to this person. It's gender aside, we all have kind of these qualities within ourselves, and at different points in time and through different situations throughout our day, different polarities need to be activated, and that's what we rely most upon in order to kind of navigate through these things. And so as this person is kind of learning to fluctuate, learning to soften into that state of fluidity, they are also recognizing you as kind of a kindred soul, somebody who fits very well into these kind of parts of their personality, into these kind of mannerisms and behaviors of this person as well. And we also have Dancer of Life. So with that reference to Dancer, this is really talking about that state of flow that this person has moved into, the state of receptivity, no longer actively kind of running or trying to kind of remove themselves or hide from this connection. But this is somebody who is wanting to participate in things, somebody who may also be trying to kind of flow more in terms of what the truth of their heart is and how this manifests in the life that they are living. Somebody who maybe is taking some more time to enjoy the simple pleasures in life, somebody who's getting out more, somebody who may have spent a lot of time introspecting, or kind of this need to sort of hide away as they were in that energy of running. Somebody who has kind of shifted that, who has moved more into that space of wanting to project themselves out there and to experience the world and be a part of it. And we also have Dancer of Inspiration, so another card of flow. And this can really talk to kind of this knowledge or awareness that they have now that they've been gifted that kind of time and space to come to these conclusions organically. Some kind of inspiration, some kind of an epiphany has come to this person about the significance of this dynamic, this connection, and who you are to them. And also with this inspiration in life, this could be somebody who is focusing on creative endeavors. You could be functioning as a muse for this person, or in some way this journey that this person is on has really tapped them into some kind of inspiration for creative endeavors. Someone who's getting more creative as well with trying to map out a plan forward based on the current circumstances they find themselves in, or the energy between you, how things were left, what has transpired, trying to make the most of the opportunities that present themselves, and trying to find a very creative way to kind of reintroduce themselves into this connection, to respark or restart this connection. And we have Spirit of Truth. So again, that clarity, that epiphany that has come to this person, this realization of who you are to them, the importance of this connection, the significance of this connection, the rare quality of experiencing an intense energetic connection like this. Some kind of truth that they may have really been denying in terms of seeing you as a twin flame, as a soulmate, recognizing themselves as a star seed, recognizing themselves as kind of a light worker, even an ascension journey that this person may have really been resisting, some kind of spiritual awakening. And it seems that they've given up that fight. They're in this energy of peace and flow, allowing these changes to wash over them and through them in order to kind of rebirth and step into that less diluted version of self than they may have been operating as previously. So I'm going to get some tarot to get some clarification about this for you, group 2. Okay, so we have the Four of Swords. So this definitely speaks to this period of repose, taking time out, this deep introspection, this period of inaction in this connection between the both of you. But this time has been very necessary for some kind of regeneration to take place with that swords energy. This is air energy, the mind, the intellect, thoughts, or even words. Some kind of an inspiration has come through to this person in the silence. They're seeing things more clearly. They're starting to, even in what might appear to be kind of a quiet and dormant stage, are in this process of sort of formulating a plan forward, planning their maneuvers, planning their next move and what they want to say. Feels like the energy also of kind of a temporary period of pause between the both of you. And we have the star, so that's an energy of renewal, of hope, of kind of the light coming out of the darkness, and can suggest that this period of kind of stagnancy or quiet between the both of you is on the brink of sort of coming to an end, that there may be some kind of a glimmer, some kind of an emergence from this person. Even just energetically, they have seen the light, so to speak, in what may have really appeared to be a dark situation, something that was very, very much feared by them in terms of the intensity of this connection, or some things that were really triggered within themselves. This is somebody who is starting to have some hope, or to reclaim some hope within themselves, that maybe some difficult shadow work, facing some fears, breaking out of some cycles, kind of the arduous work of that, physically, psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually. This person may have felt very exhausted by that process, having to face these fears, these shadows, fight these demons within themselves, wrestle those angels, so to speak. And they have come out in a place of triumph, where they really have kind of taken the wisdom from this, some kind of an inspiration, becoming aware of kind of a larger purpose of what has been triggered in them through this connection, and kind of this journey or this battle that they have been on to really master kind of some of the lower or more denser energies of themselves, fear-based energies that had them in this feeling of needing to run from this, run from the intensity, run from the love that was offered to them by you in the first place. And we also have justice, so another card of balance there, balancing that light and shadow aspect of self. Somebody who's really balanced the scales in terms of breaking some cycles, breaking out of some karmic patterns, in terms of belief systems, lifestyle choices, even relationships that they have been in the past. Somebody who is, really experiencing as well kind of the consequences of actions or mindsets. As much as they may have tried to run from this, and they kind of projected that energy of sort of retreat, they may have found as well that other things in their life were retreating from them, other relationships were falling away, and so they're starting to really learn kind of the relationship of cause and effect. They're starting to learn the relationship and the importance of kind of being mindful of one's thoughts, and kind of the rapidity and the ways in which those can manifest into maybe even unforeseen experiences or even consequences in the material world. This can also talk with justice about kind of an apology, or this knowledge that this person has that they need to kind of balance the scales between you. Some kind of truth needs to be delivered, needs to be offered to you in order to kind of right an energy of imbalance, so that the two of you can get more on track in terms of exploring the potential of this connection that this person may have initially run from. And we've got the Two of Cups, so another card of balance there, kind of that masculine and feminine polarity within this person coming into union, coming into harmony. This can also really talk again about this knowledge that they have and this desire that they have to bring some kind of unity between the both of you. This can be the energy as well of sort of reconciliation, this person coming forth ready and willing and able to offer that cup of love, where in the past they may have kind of been fearful of love, or it was, love that came with conditions. This feels like someone who's stepping into that place of unconditional love for themselves, for the journey up to this point in their life, kind of understanding that as much as they may have been operating out of an energy of distortion, they were utilizing the best, doing the best that they could, using the tools that they had at the time. Now they have been gifted and granted other tools, and so that expectation to do better, that standard has kind of been raised for them. This is also somebody who's holding themselves to a higher expectation. With this knowledge that has been gifted about the significance of this connection, they now feel under a sense of obligation to make their way back to you, to return back to you, to act where they may have hesitated in the past, or deliver some kind of truth where they may have spoken deceptions to you previously. And we have the Knight of Cups. So again, this desire to come forth with an offer of love. Somebody who may have also really stepped into a place of emotional maturity. Somebody who could have been very kind of fearful of emotional waters, avoided kind of talks of connection, of commitment, was really comfortable just kind of dwelling on the surface of things. And when things got a little too intimate, or kind of the proximity to some wounds or some fears was kind of, it was a little too close for comfort, comfort this person could have run in the past. This is the energy of somebody who's leaning into that heart space. As we had here with that, they're kind of in this logical mind. They are softening into that. They're kind of learning to create this balance between head and the heart, as opposed to kind of an imbalance of energy that they may have been operating in previously. And we also have Knight of Swords. So again, that intellect, and again, this balance between the head and the heart with these two knights facing each other here, and also with the Two of Cups and the Justice, and with the Priestess and the Priest, just a lot of energy of balance here. This can definitely kind of speak to this desire, this knowledge this person has that they need to make things right in this connection, this desire that they have to participate in this connection more fully. Somebody who has faced their fears, faced some of their shadows about love, who has done some work on themselves, work on kind of clearing that heart chakra, kind of breaking away from patterns of wounding in relationships, or even some pessimism about maybe some experiences that they had in love, or things that they witnessed in terms of relationships and connection from their childhood, from people around them, growing up, from their family of origin, or their friends even, and somebody who's learning to kind of trust in love, trust in sort of the intuition, the nudges that they are getting, trusting in that heart space, not allowing fear to really pull the strings as much or to lead the way, but taking more of a kind of a quorum of these things, of all the different kind of input and voices and nudges within themselves, not relying too heavily on one, but creating kind of a consensus of all these aspects of themselves. So in terms of signs with the swords, we have air energy, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. The star is Aquarius. Justice is Libra. And with the cups, we have water energy, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. So I'm going to get some messages for you now from this person's higher self, group 2. What do they want to say? Okay, and they say we are stuck in a cycle. So that was coming through with this medicine wheel here on the broken arrow card, in terms of some cycles within this person, cycles of pessimism about love, or even heartbreaks of the past that they have been carrying with them. There could have even been some codependency, or like that energy of runner-chaser that had been an aspect in this connection previously. And it feels like something that you definitely shifted your approach to things, and it has created this shift within this person. They're recognizing these cycles and patterns within themselves, things that were triggered and kind of reactions that occurred, and they're moving more into that space of trying to be mindful and operate from the energy of response rather than, again, reaction. And they also say, please respect my boundaries. So this person could really still be in that Four of Swords, that kind of period of introspection. They're in a planning stage right now. This definitely feels like somebody who, for multiple reasons, needs to be the one to make the first move in this situation. They're very much magnetized by whatever vibration you are holding right now. So really from their higher self, they're encouraging you to keep doing that. As much as you might feel the shift, or even this reading can kind of fill you with the sense of hope that this person is coming, to allow that, to take that information in, to take that kind of that sense of knowing, allow that to register, take note of that, but continue on the path that you have been walking. This feels like a very necessary part of this person's kind of soul evolution and their journey of healing as well, is to be the one to kind of retrace their steps, to be the one to come towards you, to offer that apology, to extend that cup of love, where in the past it may have been kind of the opposite, where you were the one giving so much into this connection that it just it triggered or overwhelmed this person. And so they need to be the one to kind of move beyond that trigger, move beyond that fear, and to take an active and assertive role in kind of righting the circumstances between the both of you. And they also say, I've been fantasizing about you. So that's that energy of this awareness, this epiphany that has come, this realization about the significance of you, of this connection, what you mean to them, and what they hope to experience with you in the future. Okay, and we have, I'm thinking of you right now. So that can be a confirmation for somebody who is on your mind, that in this moment they are thinking of you. This also really speaks to a constancy of thoughts about you. This is definitely not a situation of out of sight, out of mind, as much as there may be that energy of dormancy with the Four of Swords, not a lot happening. They may have really kind of projected some of that wounding onto you in the past, told you they didn't want to hear from you, weren't interested, didn't have feelings for you. And quite contrary to that, there's a lot going on in this person's internal landscape. A lot of thoughts of you, a lot of thoughts of what has happened in the past, self-reflection as well about what might have motivated their actions or words. And they also say, I'm sorry. So again, there's that energy of apology with the Justice card, and also what was coming through about part of this person's growth, part of the lessons, part of their evolution comes in the form of them being the one to deliver this apology. They know on some level that it is owed. They are in the process of kind of working up that courage, working up that strategy, still coming into balance within themselves with these aspects of kind of that active and receptive polarity, kind of that melding of the heart and the mind, in order to really be able to present to you a solid offer, a solid apology, something that is comes from a place of integrity, is encompassing of a deep truth that they have been holding within, and also needing to come to this place of recognizing and being ready to take that next step, that after the apology is given, kind of the door that is opened, and sort of this person still being in that preparation stage of being confident enough and feeling worthy and able enough to continue forth with the new beginning that this apology can potentially be the birth of. And we also have You Are the One. So there's that realization that this person has of you as a counterpart, as their divine masculine or their divine feminine, just depending on what you resonate as. This person sees you as that counterpart energy, as that very complementary energy. They may have really, again, kind of feared what was triggered, what was instigated, what was sparked, the intensity of love that they felt for you almost out of nowhere or very immediately, very suddenly in this connection, and it caused them to run from what was being reflected to them, kind of that abundance of love that is the makeup of their own core. And so somebody who is really transcending those shadows, finding that they themselves are the light, where they may have really looked at themselves as kind of a damaged or broken or dark person. Somebody who's coming more into a space of balance within themselves, recognizing that, again, kind of the softness or the assertiveness that you bring, depending on how you resonate, which energy you seem to hold and embody most of the time, or in context to this person, really recognizing you as somebody that they can grow with, somebody that they can build with, somebody that they see as their long-term future potential, now that they have started to make some progress in terms of healing that heart chakra, healing that heart space, fighting those kind of ghosts of the past, that baggage, that programming or conditioning, those mindsets or belief systems that they had been kind of carrying around with them and allowing to sort of contort and distort their view of love and relationships and reality. Okay, and they say karma is kicking my butt. So again, kind of these cycles of this person really learning about cause and effect here, learning to become very mindful about the energy that they are putting out, the words that they are saying, the beliefs that they have even about themselves, and how that has kind of limited their experiences, or kind of created a series of options for them in their life. A lot that this person is having to come to terms with too, in terms of ways in which they have self-sabotaged the connection, or even their potential of happiness in the past. And it's kind of a harsh realization, realizing that you are the one and yet they've pushed you away. So this person needing to kind of eat some humble pies, so to speak, get into that place of moving out of this, that ego space, coming into that place of balance between the heart and the head, in order to, again, kind of work up the courage to deliver what they know may be a long overdue apology, or to have a very difficult conversation. And they also say, I can hear and feel you so strongly. So this really ties in with that energy of you, you know, being in their thoughts with that I'm thinking of you card. This person really sensing you around them, getting a lot of reminders of you as well. As much as they may have tried to run from this connection, it feels like the reminders, the nudges, the signs, the synchronicities, they almost couldn't get you off their mind. There may have been a very prolonged period of resistance to this person trying to, you know, just focus on the material world, focus on things that were very practical, very within their control, and the universe just kind of pummeling them with your energy, with feeling you, with being reminded of you. Your souls being very much entwined as well, to where you know, there was almost no escaping you because they couldn't even run from themselves. It's that level of kind of this intricate interwoven nature between your paths, between your lives, across multiple lifetimes, and your soul. And they also say, you scare me. So again, kind of definitely this intense triggering that went on with this person about kind of the nature and intensity of the feelings that they had for you. So it's not for a lack of feeling or affection that they ran from this, no matter what they might have said to you in the past or what distortion they might have projected upon you. This feels like somebody who really kind of had a fear of loss and love, a fear of abandonment and love, or a fear of vulnerability, a fear of kind of opening themselves out or showing some kind of weakness, with sort of also with that very kind of dominant sort of male energy that was masculine energy that was coming up here in the beginning with the hunter and the high priest. This could also be somebody who really had some kind of culturally ingrained ideas about sort of gender roles, whatever those might be, whether they would resonate with themselves as a masculine, as a female, as, you know, anything. It doesn't, you know, as a feminine, as anything, whatever it is that they resonate with in some way. They had some kind of expectation of what that looks like, how they should show up, what is required of them, what is expected of them, what they should be doing, what they should not be doing, what they should be feeling, what they should not be feeling, just very specific to all of your particular people and particular circumstances. And so almost the glimpse of something different, if this is somebody who really even aside from gender roles had just been conditioned by their family or their upbringing, that to show emotions is a sign of weakness, for example. And if this person then is feeling this kind of overwhelm, this overflow of emotions, this kind of stirring within their heart chakra, that triggers almost this fear of ridicule, of doing something wrong within them that had been kind of programmed or conditioned in them. And so kind of repelling from that, running from that fear, that perception of incorrectness or impropriety. And it can really vary, but it feels like some kind of belief system or an expectation of how they as an individual are meant to show up or meant to feel things or express things. And the circumstances even between you and the potential there, what's stirred within them, activated within them from an energetic level, even a spiritual awakening that occurred, definitely could have been very overwhelming. With this energy of feeling you and hearing you so strongly, there could have been a lot of telepathy between the both of you, which could have really freaked this person out, kind of made them question their mental health, wonder what was going on, kind of go to the extreme, and yet in the modern society, what has been kind of programmed to be the natural sort of first thought when things like that might occur, that there's something wrong, there's something broken, there's something damaged within oneself. And for some people, sometimes that can be the solution. But the concept and the reality, telepathy is very real. It is something which really occurs. Energy is something that's very real. Empathy is something that is very real. It is not always a sign of mental illness or deficiency. And so this person could have really jumped to that first conclusion that something about what they were experiencing here, these kind of shifts, everything that happens with an awakening or with a heart chakra activation, a kundalini awakening, it could have been so overwhelming to them and kind of their ideas of reality, their sort of worldview, that their first instinct was to kind of try to run from that, push that away, try to close themselves off to that, resist that. But just, they may have even been somebody who maybe sought some counseling or some mental health therapy, maybe even someone who talked to a religious person, someone in a clergy, sought some kind of spiritual counseling for this, not really sure the nature of what was going on. And it's something that they may not have been able to find a lot of answers or a lot of solutions, something that kind of was without a concrete or explainable fix or solution or origin. And it's something to where over time they may have started to open up to more of the spiritual side of things, the spiritual concept of things, kind of easing into this energy of awakening, easing into the sensations that were coming through, and sort of shifting within this person's perspective of something being very wrong about this situation. And now they're starting to see it as something very right and exceptional about this situation. They're starting to view this connection with you as a gift, as opposed to perhaps a burden or a curse, as which they may have seen it as previously. So I'm going to get a few more messages from this person's higher self for you, group 2. Okay, and they say it's right on the tip of my tongue. I just need the courage to say it. So that's that energy of that planning, that strategizing, that apology that is owed, that they know is necessary, and still in this kind of phase of becoming, trying to come up with the right words, or to kind of learn a little bit more about what's going on with you right now, where you are in your life, trying to find a way forward to you, kind of on the brink of speaking, on the brink of turning the page between the both of you. And they also say, my love for you runs so deep. So there's that profound and multi-layered love that they are feeling, this intensity that could have been very terrifying for them, very triggering for them, very overwhelming for them in the past, that they are now starting to look at as a gift. With this green here and this heart chakra, this is somebody who has really done a lot of heart chakra healing, leaning more into that heart space, learning to trust in love, learning to kind of recondition themselves to seeing love not as weakness but as a sign of strength. And they also say, I am building my career in finances. Financial security is important to me. So that was coming up with that very action-oriented kind of masculine polarity of energy that was coming up at the beginning of this reading. And this person really trying to create some kind of structure for themselves that is in alignment with their truth, with this authenticity that they have leaned into. This can also really talk about the sense of security that they want to provide for you in terms of the work and change that they have done within themselves. Making sure that when they come through with this apology, that you are certain that this is not just sweet words that will be followed up by this person becoming overwhelmed and kind of recoiling or ghosting you once again, or kind of moving away from this. They want to make sure that they're in a place within themselves where they are more adept at kind of navigating the emotional waters, so that when they come forth, when they turn that page, that they are ready, willing, and able to follow that through with concrete action and movement and consistency going forward. So I'm going to get a Rumi card for you now, group 2, and this will have a poem out of the book that I'll read, and this can be almost like an additional kind of message from this person's higher self for you. And we have divine discontent. So I'm drawn to all this blue here on this card, and this is definitely throat chakra energy, this kind of apology that needs to be owed. This person very discontent with the way that they left things with you, discontent with a choice that was made, kind of this sense of almost being sort of harsh on themselves, kind of questioning what were they running from. They were almost running from wish fulfillment, and this desire to kind of smooth that out, bring that apology, and kind of right those scales of imbalance between the both of you. So let me see the poem out of the book. Okay. Winter falls upon us, so spring can bring new growth. Cry the tears, allow the longing. Sadness brings surrender and a deep desire to be free. I know your heart. I hear it breaking and groaning in darkest night when you imagine yourself to be silently cast adrift in sleep. It speaks to me, that sacred heart of yours, whispering its longing and bemoaning its divine discontent. It knows when something is amiss. It senses that something is not quite right as yet. There is a piece of the puzzle missing. Even in its tremendous gratitude for all that is, and there is much gratitude and sweet appreciation in that precious heart of yours, there is a murmuring, a questing. It cries out to heaven, vouchsafe me a blessing. I cannot go on. I am broken and in need of your tenderness for healing. I am empty and in need of filling, not with stuff and bits, but with the most precious nectar of divine fulfillment. Nothing else will satisfy me. Please, please restore me to wholeness. I can bear this missing piece, this broken disarray no longer. I listen and cajole that wise heart of yours. I praise it for its honesty and longing, for the longing is an irresistible perfume to the beloved, attracting only the salve that will soothe the divine discontent of your truth speaking heart, that of divine presence, absolute and unquestionable. So that is a beautiful poem and messages, and really just talks about kind of this longing that the two of you have for each other across the distance. The cycle of running and chasing between you, kind of the last phase that you were in this connection has come to an end. Things have shifted, things have changed, and there's been almost a 180-degree shift in terms of perception, in terms of desire and expectation. As much as you are longing for this person, even though you may have kind of moved on with your life, you've let this go with love, there's still some kind of seed potentially within you, this hope, this possibility, and that seed is very much real within this person as well. They have this desire, armed with this knowledge now, after having accomplished a lot of healing within themselves, kind of mastering sort of that denser energy of fear within themselves, stepping into that light of their higher being. This is really, they're being pulled towards you, they're being drawn towards you, they're being called back home to the place where they energetically and at the soul level have resonated the most, above and beyond all other connections and relationships in this lifetime. There's a sense of timelessness here too, that this dance back and forth, this push-pull, this activating in each other, this triggering in each other, so that you could both kind of part ways and do this sort of internal healing process, come to these conclusions and realizations very organically, to do that growth and kind of that quiet and secreted space, only to come back together and sort of re-meet each other as kind of an upgraded version of self. This feels like something that, your souls have done across multiple lifetimes. This is all part of the plan, so to speak, that your souls really have embarked upon across the eons. And it's something, to really, to trust in that, to trust that this person is, they're missing you as well. They're feeling that. And so you might even be picking up energetically with also that reference to hearing and feeling you so strongly. You could be picking up on kind of this sadness or longing from this person right now. You could be sensing their energy, thinking about them a lot. That telepathy could be really strong or coming back online at this time, and all of that, just this, this confirmation, something for your inner knowing, something to take note of as you continue to progress down your path, that you are seen, you are recognized by this person. There's this desire that they have to kind of change the circumstances between you and to not leave things eternally where you had last left off. So I'm going to get some guidance from Spirit for you now, Group 2, about this situation. Okay, and we've got the Book of Changes. So this is really talking about, first and foremost, maybe changing your perception about any kind of distance that has occurred in this connection, changing your perception even of the way in which this person may have reacted to you, things they may have said or done in the past, recognizing that they were operating from a space of distortion, from a space of trigger. That this is very much kind of the intended purpose of the two of you coming together, was to really sort of irritate and activate those wounds within the subconscious that were being carried along and were kind of diminishing your capacity to experience joy in this lifetime, to change your outlook from one of defeat to, kind of like with the star, keeping that hope alive, even if it's just a small seed of hope. This also really is guidance that changes in the air. This person has really shifted something within themselves. You might be sensing kind of almost to an overwhelming or surprising or sudden degree a shift in this perspective. When this person really comes back around as well and sort of gets that courage to speak that truth to you, to reach out to you. This is also guidance that you will find that they are a very changed person, that a lot about them in terms of their life, even their, their physical appearance, the belief systems they have, the company they keep, all of these things may have really changed. Even what they do for a living, they could be doing something completely different. This feels like someone who has and is moving more into alignment with their life's purpose, their soul path. You're really guided to do the same, to make whatever changes are necessary to kind of work through any of the baggage you've been carrying around, any kind of wounds or fears of love, anything about the heart chakra being blocked or kind of closed off to love, maybe even stemming as a result of what has happened between you and this person, that kind of the energy and the currents and the conditions are ripe for change at this time. So something as simple as a change of mindset, opening up to the possibility of love again, realizing that you are worthy, able, and deserving of high vibrational love, that can help to magnetize in a very similar vibration of experience for you. And I'm also drawn to, on this card, with the goddess Kuan, and she's holding this harp, so music could be very significant to this connection. Could be getting a lot of messages at this time through song lyrics. It can also be kind of a form of healing for you to, if necessary, like with that Four of Swords, just kind of put on your headphones and escape the kind of tumult of the world for a time being. Go into that kind of sacred and quiet space within yourself. Listen for that guidance. Ask for signs. Ask for that guidance from your spirit team, from your angels, from your higher self about, what you can be doing, how you can be taking a proactive approach at this time to, kind of shifting yourself in a direction that will yield some more abundance for you on multiple levels, and really taking into account the signs and the answers that you are getting in that capacity, coming up with a strategy, coming up with a plan, really changing your ideas about what's possible for you in the future in so many ways. And by you doing that, it really, just as you kind of releasing that energy of pursuit, of chase, that has created this energetic ripple within this person. The more you kind of change your perception of what's possible for you, this person is also feeling that energetically, that ripple out, and it can help them to kind of hasten that process, to recognize that, kind of bringing that apology and sort of surrendering to this connection and working with the energies of this connection, that it brings the possibility and potential of growth. It's not stagnancy. It's not something that they'll be trapped in. It's not something that will suffocate them. It's a condition through which you both can really blossom and flourish and thrive as your highest level of self, as kind of that most actualized level of self, living in accordance with kind of this energy of a high vibrational love, challenging and encouraging each other to kind of transcend obstacles and barriers within yourself. Also really asking you to change your perception even of kind of the nature of this journey with this person. A lot of you, if you resonate as a twin flame, you could very immediately be looking at kind of the end goal, the purpose of that is as a 3D physical union. And, that's almost like the kind of the cherry on the cake for sort of the larger purpose of connections like that, which is to, again, trigger one another, to stimulate this need or this opportunity to go within and do some growth, to do some healing, to break some cycles or patterns, some karma, so to speak, in a very loose sense, things that have been carried around lifetime to lifetime, generational kind of patterns, programming and belief systems within oneself that have kind of unconsciously been carried around and have kind of navigated the choices that we make or choose not to make. So really kind of the ultimate purpose of that twin flame dynamic is sort of like that ultimate mirror, the qualities and the things about this person that really irritate you. In some way, it's reflecting something archetypal within yourself that is in need of being addressed. So kind of changing your perception as well, from one of disappointment to seeing the opportunity here, that the circumstances you face, what has really been elicited within this person in terms of extreme responses within you, anger, sadness, fear, loss, despair, hopelessness, all of these things are really these are beckoning you to explore the roots of that further, beyond kind of the circumstances of this. Where is kind of the root of that? Where was the genesis of that in your life? Is it something even across lifetimes? Is this something, a trend that thematically, others in your family are experiencing? Be the one to kind of break yourself out of that, to liberate yourself from those chains, from thinking that this is just the way things need to be, and taking that active and assertive role in kind of changing your life, changing your mindset, changing your perspective, changing your vibration, and then experiencing kind of those reciprocal changes in your experience in your external world. So I'm going to get some initials for you now. Group 2, this can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person. You can spell something out. Okay, so we have I, O, R, E, W, Q, M, Y, L, S, B, U, and V. So those are your messages, group 2. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 3. You chose the Lapis Lazuli, along with these cards, which I will start with to get kind of a feel about the current energies between you and this person, get some clues about what's going on with them right now. So we have Peacekeeper, let go of the need to be right. So this person could be going through a process of surrendering to a spiritual journey, some kind of spiritual awakening that they may have been resisting for quite some time, kind of letting go of pride and ego as well, moving into that higher energy, allowing their higher self to really kind of be introduced, to be weighed into the equation, as opposed to maybe sticking with some kind of rigid belief systems or a very 3D mentality, a defensiveness, which may have been sort of a less than desirable quality you could have been dealing with in terms of this person before, a stubbornness, a resistance to change even. And there could have also been some humbling experiences that have taken place in this person's life recently, some things that have fallen away or crumbled down that have caused them to really learn to just kind of move into that space of gratitude, appreciation for what they have while it is here, appreciation for kind of the gifts and the blessings that are in their life, learning to be very mindful, learning to be very much kind of quiet and in the present. Somebody who really looks to the future with anticipation, is not so much ruminating on the past, but is very centered in the now. And we also have Summer, bask in joy and light. So this is an energy of kind of celebration that this person is, and right now, kind of this energy of, again, honoring what they have, appreciating what they have with gratitude, kind of the simpler things in life. With this image of the bee here as well on this card, this is really kind of a symbol of community as well. And so this person could have experienced some changes within their community. People, maybe friendships that have fallen away, or even new friends, new kind of people and inspirations that they are really resonating with, that they're getting some inspiration from. This person could have really started to step into ideas about spirituality, kind of cultivating that relationship with their higher self, even kind of establishing some connections as well with both of these cards here, with these animals, with some spirit animals that are showing up for them. Buffaloes being a sign of kind of utility, and again, signs of community because they are herd animals, as well as kind of the bee here. So community being very important, maybe a new community that is being established for this person, or again, kind of communing with ancestors, with spirit guides as well. And sort of with this image of the white buffalo, that being a sign of prophecy as well. And so something really tying in here with divine timing, or kind of a phase in this person's life, a phase of spiritual awakening that was sort of destined, was predetermined, a path that they may have been avoiding walking for quite some time that has shown up. It is really unavoidable at this point. It is for their higher good. This person is really starting to come into an awareness of their life's purpose, maybe even the purpose of some experiences that they have been through in the past, learning to kind of separate themselves also from a hive mind, a hive mentality, this energy of conformity, and kind of stepping into that individuality. Maybe somebody who is also resonating as a light worker, stepping more into that role, recognizing themselves as an empath or an indigo child, even a star seed, for example. And coming into closer proximity with others in that community, within their, for some of them within their physical world, for others it feels like more seeking online community resources in that sense, in a kind of a larger and virtual capacity, even kind of reading blogs, watching videos, watching YouTube videos, listening to podcasts that relate to topics that aren't necessarily part of the mainstream buzz, so to speak, but a little things that might be a little more fringe, sort of like, again, kind of ideas about starseeds that aren't necessarily as popular as, say, videos on yoga, for example. So somebody who, again, might be stepping into things that are, again, less than mainstream, kind of coming to a place of feeling okay with not belonging, with not resonating with those they tried to fit in with before. Maybe somebody who even also felt for a long time like an outsider amongst their community, almost like that energy of the black sheep, something that, whatever they were doing, they were never really successful. They were never really, accepted fully. They could never really be themselves fully. And so there's an energy of kind of breaking away from that, kind of setting course in another direction, seeking out like-minded and resonant souls who can accept them and can understand them for who they are, for their, very unique interests and views. And we also have traveler, move in a new direction. So again, that energy of kind of moving away or breaking away from some kind of a community, friendships, even some kind of family situation that they were in before. Somebody who's really setting a course for uncharted waters at this point. Somebody who, with that kind of this map on the background here, might also be kind of reaching out and kind of creating community at a distance, kind of virtually with people. Somebody who is also traveling into new dimensions in terms of their concept of self, their concepts of reality. Somebody who could even be sort of experimenting with astral travel, for example. Maybe doing some shamanic journey work at this point in time to really come into that knowledge of self, kind of knowledge of that purpose. This is the energy here is definitely an energy of seeking. Somebody who is seeking more than what they have experienced up to this point. Somebody who is seeking more than the reality and the options that are in front of them. Somebody who is seeking deeper meaning and truth. Somebody who may also be seeking to find that life's purpose, how to make a greater impact, what kind of their role in this lifetime is, how their unique gifts and their unique interests can be kind of harnessed and sort of brought forth in a way that can create a positive impact, that can create change in the world around them. This is also the energy of somebody becoming the change they wish to experience in the world. This could also be somebody who is literally traveling, exploring, maybe someone who's on some kind of a pilgrimage or mission or journey, somebody who is perhaps even traveling around to sacred sites and could be doing something in that capacity, kind of that seeking that zen within. Somebody who could also be kind of moving in a new direction in terms of hobbies and interests, kind of that reference to yoga came up. Maybe this is somebody who was really into lifting weights, into the gym as their form of fitness, and they have since kind of shifted into something more organic, like in terms of yoga as a form of fitness instead. So kind of this paradigm shift within this person. Somebody who is seeking more time outdoors within nature. Somebody who is seeking to connect with animals or is having an appearance of animals a lot. Spirit guides or totems that keep showing up in this person's reality, that could be kind of that first little nudge that kind of has propelled them down this rabbit hole, this journey of seeking, trying to find the meaning, trying to find the answers and the signs and synchronicities that they are experiencing. This feels also very much that this person is starting to recognize you as their soul family, as kind of a kindred spirit, as the two of you really sharing community in some form. Maybe you literally have some kind of community in common, or some kind of a community that you are involved in. Maybe be that the twin flame community, or something to do with spirituality or new age, maybe meditation or yoga, things of that nature. This is something where this person is now really opened up to this. They have opened their mind to this. They are exploring these concepts, and they're finding resonance with these things that they may have previously kind of scoffed at or laughed off before. That something's really starting to make sense for this person. They're moving in a new direction. There's an open-mindedness that is blossoming within this person. There's something that's starting to take shape in terms of their relationship to the nature of reality, and also to divine, to source, and how that manifests within them, within their physical vessel, and how that is that physical vessel can be used as kind of an instrument or tool to emanate that vibration, that resonance of divinity out into the world around them through their actions, words, deeds, and thoughts. And we also have rising sun, the divine solar child reborn. So this is definitely the energy of somebody who has moved away from a previous version of themselves and is being rebirthed into that kind of upgraded version, some kind of knowledge, some kind of truth. Something has resonated with them. This is as an expansion of the mind, the dawning of a new era in this person in terms of their relationship with reality, their relationship with themselves, what is possible possible and potential in the relationship between the both of you. This is somebody who has really, to some extent, opened the door to that higher version of self, that divine masculine, that divine feminine, whatever that is. With Traveler, they have taken concrete steps to step into that, to realize that best version of self, to actively seek to embody and become and maintain that very self-loving version. With this reference to child, somebody who also could have really kind of has been digging deep into some inner child wounds, has done a lot of healing in that sense. With the bee as well on this, and kind of this alluding to honey, which is kind of, it's an antiseptic, it's a very healing substance, it's a nurturing substance. It has antibacterial properties. It has been used throughout history as a healing agent, as a medicinal agent. Bees have been very much revered throughout antiquity as kind of the cornerstone of life in general. It's kind of a frightening statistic that if the bees were to disappear completely, I think, and I'm probably wrong on this figure, but life as we know it on this planet would cease to exist within a decade. It may even be shorter than that. But so kind of this energy of the sacred, of the divine, of this very crucial component, this very healing component, this very life-giving component, kind of this imagery here also on her headdress with this, I think this is supposed to be amber, but it looks, like this, almost like a crystallized ball of honey here, that this person has found the nectar within themselves. They have found this salve, this balm. They have actively sought and have effectively healed a lot of wounds within themselves, some very ancient wounds, past life wounds. This energy of traveling can also talk about somebody who has done some past life regression, who's really looked into their past lives as well, who has kind of looked beyond or has come up against a wall of maybe some root causes of some of these triggers and wounds within themselves in this lifetime. And so they've taken kind of a wider scope, a wider range of things, digging into the past, digging into that antiquity, kind of the multiplicity of lifetimes that their soul is simultaneously experiencing, has experienced in terms of linear time, what would be considered the past, digging into and tapping into future lifetimes, the potential that exists there, to kind of bring all of this together, to harness some of those gifts, some of that very healing and nourishing properties of some strengths that they had before that have manifested in interests or gifts in this lifetime, seeking to kind of bring those to the forefront to cultivate these things, unearthing some traumas or kind of what might be considered irrational fears or something without kind of seeming a root cause in this lifetime, kind of bringing those to the surface, applying that balm, that antiseptic property to that, in order to really step into the potential of living a more fulfilling life, kind of bringing themselves back to life, where this person might have been somebody who was kind of slowly slipping into apathy, was slowly slipping and just kind of remaining very trapped in terms of their potential in the framework that they were living or a belief system that they had. This is somebody who's really expanded beyond that. They have given life, they have breathed life back into almost this sense of potential, this untapped potential within them, where they may have seen a ceiling or a plateau in terms of their life and their experiences and what they could, hope to achieve or experience or understand in this lifetime. Something has been opened up, that view has been widened for them. There's a whole new horizon available to this person, whole new perceptions, new understandings of their connectedness, again, with kind of the universe, divinity, and humanity as well. This feels like somebody who is embarking on this healing journey within self, in order to kind of bring this forth or cultivate some gifts within themselves that can help in the healing of the planet and the healing of humanity, perhaps even as relating to ecology and animals, for example, or even bees specifically. That might just be for one or two of you, but that could be something that's a cause. It's very strong to this person's awareness, something they deeply resonate with, and kind of it again relates to that idea of kind of the root, the cornerstone, the very the very seed of creation and how that blossoms out and affects other things. This person getting down into the root cause, that very most basic and archetypal wound or trend within themselves, seeking to know it, seeking to heal it, embrace it, cultivate it, make that work for them, including their shadow aspects, seeking that balance of light and shadow in order to step into a more effective version, a more effective expression of their soul in this lifetime. And we also have the journeyer, so more of that energy of traveler, and shamanic journeying may be a kind of a key component, sort of reclaiming those lost or abandoned fragments of their soul at this point in time, places and times where they gave their power away to others, their autonomy away to others, sought to fit into others' expectations. This can also talk about past life journeying or astral travel as well. So you might be meeting up with this person a lot at this time in dreams or in meditation. And we also have ancestor of memory. So again, kind of that energy of the ancient, the root of the ancient past, these archetypal themes, this person really becoming aware of that, looking beyond kind of the 3D landscape and seeing into that, kind of these themes that have really been sort of a trend or a tendency within humanity, within mankind, seeking to heal these things, and recognizing kind of the wave of kind of consciousness and expansion that humanity is currently on, this wave of awakening, somebody that is choosing to participate in this, that is really embarking on that, and it's being transformed and transfigured. And also on this card here, we have another buffalo. So again, this idea of community is really coming up here, community that this person could really be embarking upon, really resonating from, somebody who is seeking to find their soul tribe, identifying you as kind of this kin to them in a soul sense. And we also have spirit of empowerment. So this is also with that idea of the shamanic journeying and seeking to take back their power from places, circumstances, and people where they had really relinquished that in the past. This is somebody who is stepping into their purpose, stepping into their higher truth. A lot of growth that is happening on the personal level for this person that I feel really mirrors kind of a journey of exploration and self-discovery that you have been on in your own right. A lot of practices or concepts that, and almost a feeling of isolation, being alone, that you may have experienced through your process of ascension, through your process of awakening and unfolding and metamorphosis, kind of transmuting the wounds of your past into gems of power and knowledge for the future. That all of this person in their own kind of way is now on that path. They are walking that journey. They're feeling what you felt, and they're also feeling this call, this connection to you across the distance. Kind of those trappings of the ego mind, and kind of the limited perception that they had been operating with about love, about life, about themselves, that has all kind of fallen away, and it has sort of cleansed the perception of this person to be able to discern more deeply why they have always felt this very uncanny bond to you. Somebody who is starting to really perceive and understand kind of the entwined nature of your souls and sort of the shared journey, seeing you as somebody who is also very mission driven, somebody who is very much seeking to come into alignment with your purpose in this lifetime, to really live in alignment with that life path, to move out of that south node energy of distortion and really find and follow kind of the intention, the manifestation of your north node reality in this lifetime. Kind of that healing and that state of balance, as opposed to kind of imbalance and uncertainty that you may have been in before. The ways in which you've cultivated that and you've shifted your circumstances, your internal world, your external world, what you're resonating with, what you're participating with, people that you are allowing into your energy and that you are exchanging with, that you're dialoguing with, all of that shift and kind of how that has blossomed into more of a sense of empowerment and confidence within you. This person is definitely energetically going through that similar process, that process of rebirth within themselves, rising out of the ashes of their own kind of destruction, rising out of the ashes of the version of themselves, this kind of former reality that has now fallen away, that has kind of moved away from them, letting go of this need of control and stepping into a place of flow. So I'm going to get a little bit of tarot to get some clarification about this for you. Group 3. Okay, and we have the Page of Cups. So this is somebody who is definitely leaning more into that space of kind of wonder and amazement, with this fish kind of leaping up out of the chalice here. And this fish is also, it's usually, it doesn't look like it in this card, but I think it's often supposed to be a salmon in other tarot decks, which is a symbol of wisdom. So this really talks about the wisdom that this person is gaining, that they are crystallizing about even difficulties or disappointments of the past. Kind of the struggles that they have faced, feelings of isolation, feelings of confusion on their spiritual path, and kind of coming to this place of really understanding the importance of you, why they have met you, why the circumstances in their life have played out as they have, why their journey has led to this place, maybe why things that they tried before in the past, they never were very successful or very content. They didn't really fit in, they weren't really accepted, and they're starting to understand that very unique nature of their perception and their soul, that they are meant to stand out. There's some kind of wisdom that they are meant to gain also from this journey within, this process of transformation, wisdom to bring forth to others perhaps, that can help others in their journey of self-discovery and of kind of exceeding the bounds and limits of what they have placed upon themselves or what has been dictated for them. And the Nine of Wands really talks about kind of that energy of the wounded warrior. So this kind of reminds me of almost like the messy process, the birth pangs of really kind of rising out of the ashes. Spiritual awakening is definitely, it's an arduous process. There are definitely times where, there's great accomplishment and happiness. And then there's also times where, you're crawling through the muck, through the depths, through the darkness, feeling very much alone, very much confused. Having to face some difficult truths, some heavy shadows, uncovering illusions for what they are, and then coming to terms with that, learning to love oneself and forgive others. So this energy here really speaks to, again, a lot that has been accomplished within this person during maybe a period of no contact or separation, where you're not really sure what's been going on with them. They've been at a distance from you. Internally, a lot has transformed within this person. They are wiser now. This Nine of Wands, this wounded warrior, is also a card of wisdom and discernment. So this person has really come to this knowledge of self, maybe even knowledge of others, knowledge of kind of the nature of reality, that is helping to put things in new perspective and helping them to kind of have some discernment about what they hope to accomplish in this life and maybe the best way to get there. And we also have the Five of Swords. So this is a card of defeat, but I think this is also really referring to self-defeating thoughts or self-limiting beliefs. And this person really leaving a lot of that behind, discarding a lot of those limitations that they had placed on themselves, this expectation and perception of self. They're armed again with this swords energy, with this wisdom here, this tool of wisdom, this tools of self-awareness, so that they can step forth, perhaps deliver that in some kind of form of message or ministry to others, some kind of knowledge or information to help others who are on a similar journey. This is someone who's come to this point of clarity, both within their kind of purpose in this lifetime, or they're getting to that place. It's kind of a process of elimination, trying on different shoes till they find the ones that fit, so to speak, or the ones they want to wear rather. And this is somebody who is kind of out there maybe sampling different forms of spirituality, different kind of spiritual practices, maybe somebody who's looking into religions, into theology, philosophy. They could be exploring different career paths, different educational paths, just exploring a lot within themselves and in the external world, until they're kind of finding and creating for themselves out of this kind of patchwork idea of sort of what works and what doesn't, taking what resonates and leaving the rest behind, so that they are they've got this very unique perspective that they are honing and that they are crafting, that will help carry them forward in the next step of their journey, also as it relates to kind of these new ideas and perceptions about the nature of the connection with you. And we've got the Queen of Wands, so this can speak to this passion, kind of igniting that fire within, standing in that purpose, standing in that truth. This is the energy of Phoenix from the ashes, somebody who is definitely in a state of empowerment, a state of confidence, where they may have been very fearful or felt that it was kind of a burden to be almost an outlier, or having a hard time really finding their way in the world, finding their place in the world, finding their tribe. They're now stepping into a place of empowerment with that individuality, trusting that as they emanate their light fearlessly, that others that are meant to resonate with them will gravitate in time. And we've got the Six of Swords, so again, kind of moving beyond these sort of dense or heavy self-defeating thoughts, moving into a better mental space, a space of clarity. If there had been some uncertainty, or they kind of looked at the connection between you as a burden in the past, or maybe what they perceived was expected of them, or what you expected of them, rather, out of this, they're starting to come into a place of ease, of understanding that, you know, there's a greater purpose to this. There's a greater purpose to them in this lifetime. There's a greater purpose to the struggles and challenges, even within this connection that they have experienced, that all of this is arming them with wisdom and discernment to really navigate their journey forward. And we've got the Ten of Cups, so this is also moving toward this energy of contentment, of wish fulfillment, following their heart's desire, and really this route, this journey that they're taking, this undertaking that is happening, this process of transformation. It's leading them back to you with these two people here. This is both of you in this journey of metamorphosis, becoming those phoenix out of your own ashes. And by doing this, you know, it's bringing you back together. It's reminding you of that union between you that already exists at the heart level, at the soul level. You're starting to really decipher and discern that kind of the separation is an illusion, that at the higher level, at the higher source, you are always connected. You are always one on this journey. Kind of also recognizing as well that sort of that imagery with the rainbow here, and kind of this, I mean, it's a chalice, but it could be a pot of gold, or a cup of gold rather, that resides within. You know, no longer seeking outside validation or approval, but finding that kind of that reward and the accolades within, finding that encouragement within, trusting that, you know, as long as you feel good about what you're doing, as long as you feel that it resonates, that you're living your purpose, that's the approval that is necessary, not these outside voices, not what other people think, not if other people are able to understand you. This idea as well that the ones who are meant to kind of get your message, that are meant to resonate with you, will find you, that you might not be everybody's cup of tea or cup of coffee, you might not be everybody's flavor, but it's for a very distinct path, a very distinct purpose, a very distinct group of individuals that you will, what you have to say, what you have to bring forth, what your vibration really attracts in, that, you know, out of all of those that don't fit with it, that don't resonate with it, that don't understand it, there will be those that do appreciate that. And I feel that both of you, each in your own way, are learning to step into that empowerment, speak your truth, stand in that voice, find that life's purpose, and really create some sort of meaning and some sort of beauty out of what might have been a very difficult and messy process of unfolding and rebirth. So in terms of signs with the cups, we have water energy, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. Wands is fire energy, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And the swords is air energy, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. So I'm going to get some messages from this person's higher self for you now, group 3. Okay, and they say, I ask mutual friends about you. So this can really talk about some kind of similar community that you and this person share. I feel this is also really talking about somebody who may tap in through the astral realm, somebody who kind of sets these intentions, asks for signs, is very curious about you, sees you as a kindred soul, as a resonant soul. Something has become clear to them about the nature of this connection. They could be asking their angels, their spirit guides, you know, their spirit animals, just whatever it is that they're resonating with, for kind of signs that they're moving in the right direction, signs of if you are their twin flame, of if you are their soulmate, trying to get confirmations for that as well. Maybe even watching tarot readings online to get little signs or tidbits or bits of information about what's going on with you. And they say, I send you messages through songs. So again, this energy of somebody who's very actively and deliberately tapping in through the higher realms. And this could be something, as much as this transformation has taken place in the internal landscape, this person still, you know, for very practical reasons, could be kind of holding a lot of this within them. They're sort of in this process of metamorphosis, of kind of changing their life, creating things that really fit for them. But it could be something where a lot lot of this is just taking place quietly within. They still could be in the process of, needing to construct a plan of action forward to a career that is more in resonance with them. And meantime, they're still working at the same job, or, if they're just starting to branch away and expand beyond friends, beyond family, beyond some kind of culture or religion. But it feels like somebody that is still in that process of exploration. They haven't made that full breakaway yet. So a lot of this, it almost feels like it's very covert with them. They're communicating a lot with you in terms of songs, in terms of telepathy, in terms of kind of energetically projecting to you, coming to you in dreams, coming to you from the higher self, while, their 3D self and kind of that internal landscape is in this process of change and fluctuation, searching and discovery, that it might be something where, they're holding back from that 3D communication at this time, but nevertheless in kind of that higher realm, that higher aspect. They're very actively communicating with you, making their presence known. They're almost, a thought away for you. And they also say, I miss you. So the separation is not feeling good for them. The more that they are discovering about themselves, the more it's making them feel closer to you. It's starting to help them understand you, understand this connection from a different perspective, value this connection in a way that they may not have been able or capable of before. Okay, and they say, write down your feelings. So this person could be journaling a lot, making vision boards or kind of lists of intentions, really actively participating with law of attraction, seeking to magnetize in the experiences they wish to have. This could also be something where this person has been writing letters to you or drafting texts or emails and just kind of saving that, not sending that, maybe with the letters burning that and kind of spreading the ashes of intent to the universe, imploring their guides and their angels to deliver some kind of sign to you, some kind of a recognition, trying to again kind of send you this telepathy, these messages that they just can't for whatever reason state in the physical reality, and so they're utilizing these other methods. They're really also encouraging you to actively at this point in time, as you're going through your own process of healing and becoming, they're encouraging you to do what you need to do to manifest your dreams. Get creative, get proactive about a plan forward. Seek to understand, even maybe on a deeper level than you already have or already are embarking on, kind of why the experiences that you've had, what is the purpose of that? What is your purpose in this life? Are you living in accordance with that? What are ways in which you are dissatisfied with your life? What can you do to change that? Creating a plan of action forward so that you can make calculated and measured steps toward bringing that kind of truth within yourself manifest out into your physical reality. And they also say, through my lessons, I become stronger and wiser. So that is that energy of the Nine of Wands, that wounded warrior energy. A lot of battles that this person has had to face, a lot of shadows within themselves, a lot of things that have changed in this person's perspective. And that could have been some bittersweet truths for this person. Recognition that they have of where fear held them back, or kind of limited belief systems, narrow-mindedness held them back. And it's something to where they've had to surrender to that process, surrender to that place of forgiveness for themselves, for the kind of the energy they were operating out of, to not lament the past so much, but seek to do better, to create better in the future. The best apology is changed behavior. And I feel that applies not only in what they intend for this connection in the future, but also what they are kind of doing to themselves, a vow that they have made to themselves, that in order to kind of make up for lost time or for wrong turns that they made, or choices that weren't in accordance with their soul, with their higher self. Kind of the remedy for that is to make that commitment to self, to choose their heart, to choose their passion, to choose what their soul is calling to them to do, at the exclusion of kind of the voices and opinions of others, or this need maybe to fit in that has caused them to maybe dim their light a bit, or dull or dilute themselves down in the past. And they also say, fear held me back. So again, a lot being really triggered by this connection, by the intensity, maybe a spiritual awakening that was triggered, or a Kundalini awakening when you two met, or when you were, at some point when you were last interacting. And kind of the overwhelming nature of that, the truth that was revealed, maybe some downloads, past life visions, spiritual gifts that were activated for this person. It could have been very overwhelming. They were operating from a place of needing to do this healing, needing to apply that balm to self, both for wounds in this lifetime and also very ancient things that they have carried in their soul lifetime to lifetime. And so it feels like fear and kind of that energy of recoiling from this being very necessary for this person, for both of you actually, to kind of go within and do that internal work privately, individually, in order to kind of heal some of these aspects of self, to come into that deeper knowledge of self, to get into alignment with that soul path, with that life purpose, so that the two of you are capable further down the road of meeting each other and being able to contribute in greater measure to the value of one another's lives, as well as in ways in which you are meant to kind of co-create together something that you bring out in the form of light work, or some kind of a mission or a cause that you both share in the future, some kind of joint thing that you are working on. I feel you're intended to both kind of work on that individually, do your part individually, not put that off, not put that on hold, or feel that it can't be done without this other person, to kind of act as if they're there, recognizing that in the higher self level they are there supporting you in these endeavors, and vice versa as well, that the time is now to act. It's no longer time to kind of just sit on this and wait, but again, create that plan of action forward. How can you really turn those dreams into something manifest, into something concrete? How can you kind of leave the world better than you found it? How can you become that change in the world you wish to see? Okay, and they say we are mirroring each other. So there is that energy again of kind of this shared journey, this parallel path, this process of self-discovery, of kind of going into those depths, going down some rabbit holes, following, concepts that are expanding both of your minds and enlightening both of you, facing some fears, facing some shadows, triumphing over that, creating plans of action forward to create change in your life. Both of you are very much sharing in this. It feels very much you're in collusion with each other in the higher self, kind of guiding and supporting each other energetically through this process individually. And they also say negative thoughts get us no results. So again, they're really encouraging you to have a positive mindset. Expect that although change might be difficult, that on the other side of that, living in accordance with that truth, with that integrity, with that sense of purpose, that there's meaning behind that, you will accomplish what you set out to in this life. Any kind of fears that it might be too late to change, you're too old, you're too young, you're too inexperienced, too much damage has been done, too much time has passed. Even a thought that you can't do this without this person by your side, or you're afraid to go it alone. All of these things just create this energy of stagnancy, and this person is encouraging you to step into that energy of hope and possibility, to really take the time to recognize the difficulties and challenges you've been through, feelings of being very separate, having goals and ideas that are very different from those around you, that this is not a sign of something being wrong with you. This is not some kind of a curse or something, a burden of oppression, but this instead is, a gift, this uniqueness, this voice that you have that is different. It is very necessary at this point in time. You do not have these interests, thoughts, and ideas for no reason. You are meant in some way to change the lives of others, to create more awareness, to bring more beauty to the world, to lift the vibration around you that first starts with lifting your own vibration. So this person really in this process of stepping more into that optimism, trying to kind of find the lessons in the difficult experiences, as well as really taking the time for gratitude and cherishing kind of the simple moments and the gifts and blessings that they have. And they're encouraging you to really do the same with that. Get out of any kind of thinking about lamenting the past and kind of the what ifs and regrets over choices that were made, or kind of fearing or anticipating or focusing too much on the horizon and waiting to act until some other circumstance comes into play, or just making your actions or movements dependent on others, on other circumstances. Being very present in the now, being very cognizant of the signs you are getting, the nudges you're getting, the intuition that you have, and letting that be your guide. Kind of this trusting your inner voice, and using the external external world merely as a form of, just that added confirmation that the ego mind often needs before it can learn to kind of relinquish and surrender into the flow of trusting kind of that higher knowing of the intuition. And they also say, I can't stop spying on you. So definitely this person watching you from afar, maybe even in the astral realm in dreams and meditation, tapping into your energy, being sneaky, but in kind of a sweet way. Just kind of very excited for what they have discovered about themselves, this resonance that they have with you. Somebody who almost, again, feels that there's a need for secrecy at this point in time. There's a lot that still needs to transform about this person, that they have this realization, but they feel that they are also working on something very big in their life, a major transition to where they're doing what they can to not disrupt that, not disrupt the flow of that, not create interference in that momentum. They feel very goal-focused, very intent on some kind of exploration, discovery, or creation in their life or within themselves. But at the same time, with that connectedness of your souls, they're feeling you, they're feeling the shift within you. They're very acutely aware of it. And it's something that there's almost this energy of kind of anticipation, of excitedness, of giddiness, almost like a child would be, like we had here with that divine solar child reborn, this kind of, this youthful spirit of being very excited, being very happy that they have come to have this realization of you, that they know of you in this way, that they feel you in this way, this very unique bond that you share, almost this urge to kind of protect that or keep that secret because it's so different from what others have experienced of love. It's a very unique thing. It's a very precious thing that, they're working with this energy. They're tapping into this energy. They're watching you, maybe even directly from afar via some kind of social media profile, if you have a social media presence, Googling you, things of that nature. Maybe even making a point to, as we had here with the asking mutual friends, some of them could be asking people about you, bringing you up in conversation or bringing up topics of conversation that they know will inevitably lead to conversation about you, to try to glean little bits of information. Just even basking in the kind of the warmth that the mere reference to your name brings up in them. So somebody who is thinking very fondly, very beautifully about this connection, feels very compelled to move towards you, but at a future point in time, that there's still some things that are in the works within themselves, and also some things that they are really focusing on trying to create and manifest and get into alignment in their own life first. So I'm going to get a few more messages from this person's higher self for you, group 3. Okay, and they say, I've been rehearsing what I want to say. I have been so nervous. It has to be perfect. So that's that energy of that giddiness, that excitement, wanting to really share with you all they have discovered, all they have learned about spirituality, the nature of themselves, of their purpose in this life, maybe concepts of twin flame or soulmate that you had mentioned to them that they, weren't really open to in the past, that they now have come to discover. They resonate with. Maybe you didn't even mention any of this to them with that energy of mirroring here. You may have independently kind of come upon these ideas on your own, and it's something they're really excited to share with you, kind of unbeknownst to them that you are already familiar with these topics and concepts, and it's something you resonate deeply with as well. So kind of an area in which you can really bond and really kind of exchange notes in that sense with each other. And again, this energy of wanting to come in, but and with that sense of rehearsing, feeling that there are some things within them that are still in this process of becoming, that they still need to kind of manifest and grow and fine tune within themselves and also within their external circumstances in their life. And they also say, you are so sweet. Thank you for being so compassionate. So they really are recognizing the beauty of your soul, kind of this very sweet and unique bond that the two of you share. They're recognizing you as a deeply empathic person, somebody who has a lot of compassion, a light worker. They're seeing you as soul family in that sense. It's one of the qualities that they admire most about you. With that Queen of Wands that came up as well, they do find you very physically attractive. They're attracted to you on multiple levels, but it's at the soul level. It's for your heart. You're very open and giving nature that this person really admires and respects and appreciates on a deeper level now, that some things have really come to light for them during a period of separation or no contact. And they also say, you inspire me so much. I want to create beautiful things with you. So that's that energy of wanting to come back together for some kind of joint mission or purpose, something that this person wants to bring out into the world, pertaining to the journey that you've been on, or some kind of cause or passion that you share in common, some kind of an idea, some kind of an urge to heal, that you both have this in common, to kind of make the world better around you, be that change in the world you wish to see, leave the world at the end of this lifetime as, you know, a more joyous place, a more uplifted place, a more aware place than the world in which you came into. So I'm going to get a Rumi card for you now, group 3, and this, I'll read a poem out of the book for this, and this can be like an additional message from this person's higher self for you. Okay, and we have Blessing of Al-Hakim. So this is really talking about, again, this person has shifted perspective about this connection. They're seeing this as a blessing, something very unique, something that's set apart from the rest, from what other people experience and know of as love, and very different from what they themselves have experienced of love in other connections, where they may have felt very overwhelmed or very burdened or very unsure what to do with this connection in the past, the intensity of it, very overwhelmed by maybe the spiritual awakening that was instigated, the Kundalini awakening. It's something where they really have shifted that. They've done this complete 180. They're starting to see this as a gift, as a virtue, as an attribute to them, as something which adds to the measure of their life rather than kind of diminishing from that. So, okay, so here's the poem. Sell your cleverness and buy bewilderment. Cleverness is opinion. Bewilderment is vision. The gift of wisdom, the blessing of Al-Hakim, gurgles up from your heart. Her blessing is evoked by life, like the laughter of a babe, joyfully responding to the playful tickle of the mother's hand. Wisdom can make divine sense of anything, especially of that where logic is blinded. How I revere the blessing of Al-Hakim, of wisdom, for she is precious and welcome to me now and always, the dear friend who brings me such peace. So that's a really beautiful message, and again talks about this, like with the salmon here on the Page of Cups and the Nine of Wands, this wisdom that this person has gained through the struggles within themselves, a deeper knowledge of self, wisdom about this connection, of the importance of this, that energy of the giddiness of the child, somebody who's very excited to meet up with you again, to have your paths cross again, somebody who's very excited to embark on the next stage of this journey together, of experiencing this higher love between you from a place of appreciation and understanding, where they may have been of a limited capacity to kind of handle the intensity of that or appreciate the intensity of that. This person feels to have kind of dropped into that quiet space within, enjoying kind of the unique blessings and gift in their life, and this connection stands out to them as one of their greatest blessings, and something to where this internal work, this process of becoming, kind of holding back out of some things that need to be done, it also feels very much to be motivated in the sense that they want to come to you as a healed version. They want to come to you as a more complete version of self, so that they can provide blessing to you as opposed to kind of burden your life with an energy of fear and distortion that they may have been operating in previously. So I'm going to get some guidance from Spirit for you now about this connection. Okay, and we've got Princess of the Autumn Harvest. So this is definitely with that reference to autumn and kind of that season of death and things falling away, kind of the prelude to the quiet time, the dormant time of winter. This is really encouraging you to kind of release expectations of timing as far as this connection is concerned, understanding that a lot is shifting, a lot is changing, a lot has already changed with this person. It may not be so necessarily obvious to the naked eye at this point in time, but internally there has been a shift, there has been an awakening. This person is in a place of surrender, of participation, and kind of like the leaves on the tree which fall and lead to that barren space of winter that is kind of that prelude to the rebirth of spring. This suggests that there are some cycles that are closing out. This is encouraging you to kind of unburden or unshackle yourself from any kind of outdated belief systems, things that have kind of moved past their point of utility, moved past that expiration date, to let these things go with love, even letting the expectation of this person kind of coming back around, this expectation of 3D union between the both of you being the end all be all of this connection. Any kind of ideas you have about wanting to wait for this person, not wanting to miss this person, putting your life on hold for this person, learning to let that go with love, step into that place of quiet where the inspiration can come to you about the next steps to take, and then stepping fearlessly into that energy of rebirth, that springtime energy, giving way to the bounty of summer, that harvest, those fruits that blossom and ripen. And it's in this energy of fluidity, of learning to kind of let go of the past, let go of that which no longer serves, even letting go of kind of an outdated version of this person, as the both of you are really in this state of transformation, understanding that when your paths cross again, you will be as two very different people, two very upgraded people, change in a very beneficial way for one another. And so again, just kind of moving through that, moving as much as you can through things that are falling away or that are wanting to fall away from your life, with the understanding that beyond that is the promise of renewals, the promise of rebirth. This can also be a confirmation from spirit of a rebirth or a reconciliation on the horizon for the both of you, but that you're both still in this process of really coming to understand who you are at your core self, really coming to understand what your purpose is in this life, and seeking to really make the most of the time that you have in this incarnation on this planet. And so encouraging you to make that your first priority. And when you do that, when you prioritize that, your soul, your abundance, your happiness, then it creates this vibration that is able to magnetize in other experiences, other souls, i.e. in the form of this person as a more kind of actualized and aligned version of themselves further down the road, that the time in which the two of you will reconcile, will reconnect, it's very divinely orchestrated, it's divinely guided. Your higher selves, you are definitely, working with each other in tandem at this point, and always have been, really supporting each other, challenging each other. You are always together. Union in a 3D sense is an illusion, because the eternity, the reality is your souls are always connected. You have never not been connected with this person. You're simply kind of accomplishing different aspects of your own emanations in this lifetime, things that may require those periods of quiet and solitude in order to really come to the truth and really come to the answers in an organic way, in an individual way, so that when you come back together, when you commence the next phase of your journey in kind of physical proximity and unity in that sense, you will have accomplished and grown and kind of learned some of those lessons, unearth some of those treasures within yourself, strengthen some of those tools that are necessary and that will be great attributes to kind of where your journey will take the both of you individually and together going forward. So I'm going to close this message with some initials for you now. Group 3, this can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Okay, so we have J, B, E, C, P, O, S, F, L, U, R, and X. So those are your messages, group 3. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.